Hey guys, this is your host Tushar from Bus Behind Sports, an initiative by IISM. In Bus Behind Sports, we discuss everything related to sports and entrepreneurship. The subtopics like sports marketing, esports, business, and sports. So today we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Vishnu Govind, an entrepreneur and marketing professional. He has worked with many companies like Cadbury, Raymond, and has a work experience for over more than 20 years. He has been a part of many MNCs as a role of narrator. So, without wasting any time, let's welcome our guest. Welcome, sir. Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you, Tushar, for having me on the podcast.
So, like you said, you have an experience over 20 years. So, could you enlighten us with that?
Okay, I'll take you back to where my professional career began. I started with Cadbury India Limited. I started by selling chocolates.
Okay.
I had two stints in two major corporations. One was Cadbury and one was Raymond. I built my career around skills in the area of marketing, consumer marketing, sales, business development, and overall business management. Okay. And at one stage, I decided to venture out independently and work as a marketing consultant to brands, many of them in their early stage of business, early stage of growth, more like a plug and play CMO, Chief Marketing Officer of sorts. And that's when I got the opportunity to work closely with sports.
So as you mentioned Cadbury, so my mama used to say, as a sports player myself, she used to be like, कि पूरे दिन Cadbury खाते रहता है and all. So
हम लोग भी ऐसे ही था. We used to think like that when we joined, but at some point of time it becomes a surfeit. You have enough of it, so
yes, sir.
You're over it. Yeah.
So as you were speaking before, so you like tennis. So
Yes,
even I'm a big fan of tennis. Even actually I'm a tennis player myself. So
great to know that, Tushar.
So I remember कि starting we used to have amazing players like Roddick. We used to have big three. So what happened, like the new generation, I feel they're not that much good. Like they have only the baseline game. So yeah, that's the main issue. Which
See, sport evolves. Tennis also evolves, and from the time I started watching the sport, the way it's played has also changed. To go back a bit in time again, one of the earliest matches I watched was McEnroe versus Connors.
That match was amazing.
1984 Wimbledon final as a small kid. 6-1, 6-1, 6-2 annihilation of Jimmy Connors by John McEnroe. Two greats of the game. And at that point of time, I did not know that Jimmy Connors was such a great. I realized that much later. That tells you how great was McEnroe that day.
Yeah.
So that was serve and volley tennis at its purest best. But over time, tennis has moved on from that serve and volley style. Even the grass courts have been slowed down. And today it's all, punching from the baseline. That's where all the action is.
Like right now in sporting industry, we have a lot of competition. It's like if you want to become a tennis player, you have to go to everything. Like you have to clear your trials, you have to do the states, you have to clear your nationals. Then only you can get selected for you have to representing your country. So I remember like I used to play for states, nationals, but later I was like, let's do this. Let's join sporting industry. Let's come to the management. Let's see how it goes. So I've seen many people asking ki management hota kya? What is sports management?
Okay, so I'll put it this way. You're bringing two things together, sports and management. So sometimes sports management gives you different perceptions of what it is. So fundamentally, it's about getting sports done and executed and then extract mileage and being able to monetize it. So that's what sports management is. So if you look at sports, fundamentally over all these years, what has changed? The rules of the game have changed little.
A lot.
It's incremental.
Yes.
They're not orbit shifting changes. Tennis is by and large the same.
Exactly.
Okay. So, but what has changed is how it is packaged and presented to people all over the world. Sports was once designed for watching from the stands, from the galleries, right? You agree? But 100%. What is it now? It's now presented and packaged for people to view from the comforts of their homes on the TV sets.
Yes.
Even on your handheld device on the go.
Exactly.
So there is a change that has happened all around. So how to do that, how to create value out of that for all the stakeholders involved. That's what sports management is all about.
Yeah, like there are many colleges which support sports, they promote sports. So career in sports management, it's something which we have to think about before joining any sporting industry or anything. So like career in, like, it'll be a big question mark whenever someone is talking to me or anything, like it'll be like, bro, what do you want to do after that? Like, it'll be a big question mark. So like, what response people generally need?
Okay, so I'll put it this way. It's a relatively new industry in India. When did the sports industry in India take that steep climb up the commercialization curve? It was after 2008 in IPL.
Yes.
So it's a relatively new industry in India. How does value get created in that industry? There are a few fundamental blocks to that. One, you need to create sports properties. And there are people who hold rights for these sports properties. So creating them, running them, operationalizing them, that's one challenge. Number two, how to monetize them, how to convert that into value. So if you have a team, or if you have rights to an event, how to leverage that well. You need expertise in that area. Third one is what? Running events, making the show happen.
Yes.
Fourth one is what? The content flow that goes with it, making sure that what happens on the field reaches everyone. These are the four fundamental blocks of a sports value chain. Creating properties, monetizing them, running events,
It's very difficult.
And making sure the world gets it by content management.
Yes.
In all these levels, there are job opportunities.
Yeah,
That's
true.
what you should be after.
So I've seen many of my students, many of my colleagues. So they always differentiate. They're like, in India we don't have that much opportunities, but in abroad we have a lot. But I feel there's some cultural differences in sports also. Like in India we have cricket, we have football, but in US, for a country like US, United States, so we have NFL, we have basketball. So why are people just going over there and working? Why not they are just coming to India and just helping the sporting industry?
So again, the curve of growth in sports has happened a lot earlier in these countries than India. We've started a little later. And why that happened, there are many reasons. And I would like to approach it from the point of view of media revolution, media explosion in these countries, where United States had a huge spike in TV penetration much earlier than we had in the 60s and 70s. So the growth curves of properties like NFL, NBA, and all that happened much before. So they say, right, there's a time for everything. Maybe this is the time for India. We are catching up fast.
Yeah, but I remember when we were in the growth stage, COVID had a huge impact on sporting industry. So I remember I used to go for practice, and when COVID hit, there was nothing, no practice, no matches. For tennis and for others also, like cricket. So there was no fan base. Like media was nothing then. Like they only had to stream and that's it. So what do you think? Like, was COVID a good thing for Indian sporting industry?
See, generally speaking, COVID can't be good. Okay, but it tests your resolve a lot, and it might make you stronger in one way.
Okay.
So, as you say, desperate times call for desperate measures. So what kind of happened in the sports industry was somewhat similar. There was no sporting action for a few months.
Yes.
Go back to March 2020. It looked impossible that we'll see any kind of sporting action. But slowly the industry started coming out of it, right? There was the biosecure bubble. We all were locked up. We were in our own respective biosecure bubbles. And so sports could happen. One big shift happened that was there was no fans, there was no spectators.
Yes.
On the grounds. The stands were empty, which is kind of something integral to sports. Having fans cheering and creating a carnival-like atmosphere is integral to sports. It's what makes sports what it is. It's not optimal to not have fans, but then the show can still go on. That's what the world understood. There were a lot of acceleration in digital shift, a lot of innovations in broadcasting, which came out as a result of it. So in some way, some spaces we moved forward also as a result.
Yeah, even I remember जब COVID था तो I used to play a lot of video games. So like esport industry was growing rapidly at that time.
Absolutely.
Like I used to play 12 hours a day and my mom used to be like कि कितना दिन खेलेगा बाहर जाके खेला. I'm like, Mom, we have COVID outside. We can't just go there and practice. So, but esport also, I feel sponsors and advertisement has made helped esport a lot in growing.
Right. See, how long does it take for a new habit to be formed? A few weeks. That's what people say.
Yeah.
Right? So if you are housebound, you're a sports fan, you're a sports lover, you don't have fresh sports content.
Yes.
You don't have new live action. You want to watch entertainment programs, which also the rate at which they come in also slow down a little bit. So obviously, new habits get formed.
That's
gaming
true.
is something that a lot of people tried during the wave one, and maybe some stick to it also.
Yes.
So while gaming, especially mobile-based gaming in India, was on the uprise, and then esports also was therefore a beneficiary of the same.
Yes. So, what makes sponsorship and advertisement different? Like, people will be asking for, I need sponsorship, or some will be like, I need advertisement. So, like, how does it help in growing a sport or industry?
Okay. So, in the context of this discussion, I'm assuming you're talking about sports sponsorship, right?
Exactly.
Okay. I'll give you a picture of sports sponsorship primarily. It's basically it's a symbiotic relationship between a brand and a sports property.
Okay.
Your sports property could be a team like Barcelona or like Mumbai Indians or like the Indian cricket team. The sports property could be an event like Border Oscar Trophy or the IPL or the Women's Premier League that's going to start now.
Yes.
The brands could be from sports,
Or maybe outside.
or they need not be from sports, and in most cases they're not from sports, but they see a value in associating with these sports properties because there's a lot of eyeball value for these properties. So sports is becoming a legit part of their marketing mix. Like they do advertising, they can also do sports sponsorship. Okay.
Yes.
Now, in sponsorship, there is no one size fits all. The needs of a fintech company will be different from the needs of a consumer goods company, a toothpaste manufacturer. So you will have to fine tune and tweak and make a perfect sponsorship plan that suits both parties,
Okay.
So you will have to make a perfect offer, an offer that they can refuse, as they say in Godfather. So that is sponsorship. What it gives you is it gives you a decluttered space. Your competitors are normally not allowed. So you have a certain space all for yourself in your category. You sort of have a captive audience, which is an advantage. On the advertisement side, you can control your narrative fully. The story that you want to tell about yourself can be told exactly the way you want.
Okay. So I remember, so in my college first year, yeah. So I was searching for internships. So I got an internship as a sports sponsorship manager.
Okay.
So I didn't know anything. So मैं उधर गया, they are like, find me a sponsor. So I didn't know anything. I'm like, how do I approach? They're like, approach banks, approach shops and all. I approached around more than 40 shops. So at the end of the day, I got none actually, but I learned a lesson. I'm like, I don't think it works. So what would you suggest for new aspirants job? They want to come into the sponsorship field and they want to try to find sponsors like me.
So finding sponsors calls for a lot of direct selling skills.
Okay.
And there's a lot of work that you need to do before you start making the sales pitch. You should do a thorough homework of which are the parties you're wanting to target. Filter them using appropriate filters so that the odds of the talk going well are slightly higher.
Yeah.
Do a research. Have a pre-qualified set of names. brands you think will benefit.
Okay.
And then you will have to think from their perspective how you can add value, how the sports association will add value. Okay. And then make a perfect proposal. So you can't, as I told you earlier, there is no one size fits all. You have to tailor make each proposal. Your odds are much better. But I can tell you one thing, winning a sponsorship deal is one thing, but holding on to your sponsorship is, holding on to your sponsor partner is another thing. So servicing becomes very important.
Okay. Like I remember the feel when I got my first sponsor. I was very happy. I'm like, chalo party karne chalte hain ki I convinced someone at least.
Strong in it. It's a big win. So I don't hold that against you.
Yeah. So that was it. It was very difficult actually to pitch your idea ki I want sponsors for this because they ask ki हमें return में क्या मिलेगा? हम तुम्हें sponsorship देंगे, but what will you get in return? So that's a huge problem in.
So every brand will have an objective from the brand side also. As I told you, when I market brands, I think from the brand's perspective. So you will have a certain set of objectives, and you will have to evaluate your sponsorship on the basis of whether you can, how much it will help you achieve those objectives.
Okay.
And you will have to compare it against your other alternatives that you have also. You can have other brand building initiatives.
Okay.
So that's how you should compare.
So, is there anything would you like to share with the new aspirants? Like anything, like a sentence or anything, so that they know what's in front of them. They're ready for that. Ki, I have to face this.
Okay. It's very important that you enjoy doing what you're doing. Okay. So they say that if you loved your job so much, then you will never need to take a break from it. So I'm kind of remembering this interview by Pep Guardiola, the one of the greatest modern day football managers. He was asked in an interview, you've been a great manager. You handled 3 big teams, Barcelona, Munich, and now City. To win the UEFA Champions League, you need Messi. How will you handle that criticism? He said, I'm fine with that. If data is saying that I need Messi to win the UCL, then I'm fine with that. That's true. I accept that. But I go about my campaigns in a certain way. I enjoy doing what I do. How you do your campaign is also important. You top your group.
Yeah.
You're the team that the others are scared of. You're the team to beat. So you should be a strong force. You should be very good at what you're doing. You should love what you're doing. There are some things which are not in your control. So you control the controllables. That's all that you can do.
Thank you, sir, for joining us in a podcast and giving us such a valuable information of business and sports. Thank you, listeners. So we're going to have a series of episodes, and feel free to comment down your favorite topic. This is Tushar, your host, signing off. Peace out. Bye.